How you doing there, my brother?
What's happening, Coach? All is rainy and well in this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, evening, morning, night, wherever you are, all across the world, all across the globe. Welcome,
My boy say, wherever you are, welcome.
welcome.
Welcome. We appreciate you being here with us this afternoon, this evening, or whatever time zone you may be in.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Tell me something good, Coach, because I tell you, I have to admit, man, I'm a little salty today. I'm a little salty, so please tell me something good.
I have no idea what you're salty about. Um, really, right about now, it hadn't been a whole lot good. Uh,
Mm.
we've been losing some of our FAMU faithful. Um, we've been losing some of them, and that has not gone well for us. You know,
One, two, go, get go! Go, get go!
we lost Chuck White. He was a member of the Final Four team, a teammate of my dad's. That team that won a conference championship at Alabama State with 4 players, uh, double overtime game. In fact, they were losing at one point and came from behind and won with only 4. When I heard that story growing up, I just thought it was my dad just kind of talking, not really true. That sounded a little bit too far fetched to be believed, especially when he was telling me how he had players on the team that were going back during time. I was telling Coach Oglesby, who was his coach and my coach, we both played under Coach Oglesby, Coach, there's a man open. If he didn't realize by the end it was 4 players and one was going to be open. So, and then we lost my assistant coach from the Rattler basketball team, Coach Coleman. Ralph Coleman Jr. Died early this morning. I was able to see him yesterday for a little while. I was able to see him, and I was appreciated having that opportunity to spend some time with him and his family. Um, that he's in that transition state. So the Rattlerettes, because we were the Rattlerettes then, we were not the Lady Rattlers as you would. And there was a push then to make us the Lady Rattlers. And I said, why do you want to be the Lady Rattlers? They said, well, FSU, they call the Lady Noles, they're the Lady Seminoles. So I said, that's another reason for me not to want to be the Lady Rattlers. I said, we stay the Rattlerettes. But somewhere in there, once I had left, some other people much smarter than me changed the name. But a special prayer out to Ralph and his family. And please know that the Rattlerette family everywhere, FAMUans everywhere. Because he was also a cheerleader at one time. Now, boy, I was trying to pay somebody to find me a picture of him being a cheerleader. Well, we could never get those pictures of him being on the cheerleading team. We could never get those, but we were for sure trying to find them.
Wow. Definitely our thoughts and prayers going out to both Coach White's and Coach Coleman's families during this time. I remember meeting Coach White here in Lakeland after I had graduated and had become a Kappa and would go to the state basketball games, and he would come over every year because he had a radio show in Tampa, a sports show on Tampa on WTMP, and he would come over every year, and he would always sit down and talk to me and everybody, just whoever wanted to talk to him, and he has so much knowledge and just such a nice guy. Coach Coleman, I mean, he was just, to me, he was always just so low key. He seemed just not Tony Dungy like, but I never saw him get really riled up. Well, okay, twice. Once at me, but that's a long story that we'll tell another day. But but always, even when I would come back and he had stopped coaching, he would always check up on me. And those two gentlemen meant a lot. And I was shocked to hear about Coach White, and I didn't know about Coach Coleman. This just hit me like a ton of bricks. So again, thoughts and prayers to the families.
Right. Yes.
INSiiGHTS now has its own Roku channel. INSiiGHTS itself is a dream maker, providing a platform for content creators. Go with INSiiGHTS Roku channel into 91 million homes. We are strengthening our programs that will continue to educate, entertain, and enlighten our viewers. We will still feature youth sports, Mick and Rick, INSiiGHTS Magazine, Remember the Legends, and much more. Stay tuned for our creative content. Appreciate your support.
Yes, sir. We had another interesting game this past week. We've done 2 game of the weeks. Both of them were in Georgia. One at Brooks County with a rain delay. We had a rematch. Brooks County's coached by FAMU and Maurice Freeman, the Foot, that won a state championship last year. And we finally got a chance to do the Thomasville High, Thomas County Central game. And one of the questions I asked my co-host, Ben Tillman, I said, Ben, how would it be if they actually joined these two high schools? It won't happen. Be like the Hatfield and the McCoys.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad we're down in Alabama. Oops. I did say that. Sorry. But no. All right, so Coach, when I tuned into the game, it wasn't a close game when I tuned in. It was like 21-0. Tell me your insights on this game.
Was that the Brooks County game or the Thomas County game?
The Thomas County game.
Man, both of them were like that. I mean, Thomasville High is getting drilled. You know, they got a new coach and they're getting drilled. And once Brooks County, Brooks was about to score 21-0 in the first quarter on them. And that lightning that lightning strike came through there, boy, and we ain't see the lightning yet. And we had said Brooks County must have really preyed on that lightning.
Prayed or paid.
Yeah.
Hey, come on. I'll put in a few more dollars in the pot.
Oh, it was ugly. And then Thomas County Central was putting it on them too. I mean, woo. And they had 2 lightning delays.
Wow.
The game kicked off at 8 o'clock, and we were done leaving there about 11:45.
Mercy.
Long game. So we have a break before we do our next game. Our next game would be Ricketts and Gobby.
Ooh.
And Gobby got beat almost 71-6. Lincoln these games aren't even close. I mean, some of them, so it's an arch rival game where they play. So they'll throw it out. Then we do Florida High and Lincoln, and we know that's going to be a good game. Then we go back to Brooks County with Brooks County and Irwin County, both of them ranked in the only 2 Georgia schools ranked in the top 10 in the nation for small schools. So we'll get a chance to be there for that one. So, we're kind of excited about that as well.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir.
When you take over a team that's struggling, and I think you definitely or starting out, but let's just say when you're a new coach coming into a situation, how hard is it to? It would seem like it's a fine line between putting your stamp on it right away and easing into what you want to do with what the players know. How difficult is it for a coach to start out with a new program?
Actually, that's a heck of a question. My philosophy, even goes back to being hired. I always think that if you have a coach that's very, very hard, that when you hire a new coach, if they haven't been successful, you don't hire the same type of coach. You hire a different coach. Then in a situation like Thomasville High, where you're coming in and they played in the state championship game and had 27 seniors out there this year, and you were the offensive coordinator on that team, you would imagine that you would have scored more than one Hail Mary touchdown in 2 games. So there's a little fire going on there. So that's a good question. You have to kind of be yourself, and you have to instill. If you go into a losing program, if you go into a program where kids want to win, all they want you to do is show them how to win. They just want to win. If you show them how to win, then they'll be with you. But if you don't change it, then you can lose them real quick. You could lose them real quick. We got some things that we really are going to get to. I haven't even seen our guests, but we do have a component here, one of your favorite components, which would be, why are you laughing already?
I'm just getting ready because I needed someone to hype me up today. And I think
gentlemen,
the person to
week 1 is in the books. And there were some surprises, close games, and to put it politely, some insert foot into the John Brown hind parts. Can I say that, Coach? At least I think that is nice, because there are several other adjectives I could use. Well, we got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Kicking off the week, Thursday night, we had the Ricketts Raiders hosting John Paul II. And this absolutely did not turn out the way that I expected, as John Paul showed that they are a force to be reckoned with, as they outlasted the Raiders in a shootout, 35-33, with Ricketts missing a last-second 37-yard field goal. This John Paul team should have a great season. In Friday night action, I told everyone it would be different at Childs this year, as they went to Wakulla and gave the War Eagles all they could handle. But they fell short in overtime, 25-24. McClay was bested by Deerfield Windsor, 30-22. Now, before I continue, I'm almost embarrassed to say that last week I forgot about 3 local teams. So therefore, I am imposing a 75-cent fine, which will be a quarter for each team to call somebody that cares. Hey, I am human after all. But to Florida High, FAMU DRS, and Jefferson County, I apologize. Now, Florida High wasn't worried about little old me as they took care of Trinity Catholic in a rematch of last year's regional final by a score of 22-19. Now on to the head coaching debuts. They were not productive as these new faces and new places were not welcomed with positive greetings and salutations. It wasn't season's greetings. Instead, it was season's beatings. Port St. Joe gave out the first lump of coal and beat down Jefferson County 39-8 in the head coaching debut of the former Jefferson County great quarterback, Norris Footman. In the head coaching debut of former FAMU DRS great Alex Williams, the Baby Rattlers put up a much better fight, falling to Hilliard 41-20. Honestly, I'm not sure if FAMU DRS scored 20 points all season last year. So this was a much better outing in the first contest. In the head coaching debut of Tyrone McGriff at Leon, they took a wallop from North Florida Christian 35-10. The debut of Victor Winters at Gadsden County. Well, that was sabotaged before it even started, as Lions gave the Jaguars a flea bath, beating them 33-0. And the final debut for Demario Jones and the Gobby Cougars could not have been more of a nightmare, as Lincoln put 71 points on the scoreboard to the Cougars 6. But any of us that know anything about football and coaches taking over programs that have already been struggling, I want you to know, coaches, that at INSiiGHTS, we support you and salute you for your efforts. And it's not all about wins on the field, but more about wins in the lives of our youth. So keep working hard and keep your heads up. Now, over in South Georgia, Brooks County brought that hammer out again and bashed Wayne County 39-25. And in the INSiiGHTS game of the week, Thomas County Central stung the Thomasville Bulldogs 31-0. It's going to be a long year for the Bulldogs. So, with that, I finished with a formidable 6-3 record for the week. And now, Mick and Rick, if you want to challenge me moving forward in a pick'em, I'm all for it. Rick, I guess the best you can do is your research on Max Preps for your picks, since you're not able to follow the local teams. Now, I told you all last week, I'm not a betting man, but I will put up a whopping $1 for the winner at the end of the season. Now, on to the college front. Florida State took care of business in week 0 exactly as I expected by torching Duquesne 47-7. And if moral victories existed, then my FAMU Rattlers would be the national champions. And I'm not even going to get into that debacle about what happened administratively, but I do know where several U-Haul moving vans are located here in Tallahassee. I could not be more proud of the character and class that this team showed in North Carolina. If it's any indication of what this season will be, it's going to be a remarkable season. So, let's get to the action this week. Rickards will attempt to get in the win column as they welcome Fleming Island to town. Now, I've already laid down my prediction for the year, being that I am the voice of the Raiders, so I'll take Rickards. John Paul will take on Jefferson County, and it will not be pretty. JP2 will represent for Southwood. The test will not get any easier for the Gobby Cougars as they travel to Boot Hill to take on the Madison County Cowboys. There's no need to tarry on this pick. I'll take Madison. Lincoln will also be on the road as they travel to Palm Beach Lakes. And they looked very balanced last week, so I'm going to take the Trojans. Gadsden County will take on Wakulla in their home debut, but I'll take the War Eagles. Childs will travel to Fletcher I'm going to stay on the Timberwolves bandwagon another week. I'll take Childs. Leon will welcome Monroe in their home opener, but it will not be a celebration. I'll take Monroe. North Florida Christian will welcome Mariana, and I expect the Eagles to get another victory. I'm taking NFC. McClay will take on Brookwood. That's the end of that home team stuff with McClay. So I'm taking Brookwood. FAMU DRS will take on Walton, and I'll take Walton. Florida High will need to stop a running attack as they travel to face Ponte Vedra and a familiar face in Steve Price. But I'll take Florida High. I've got to believe that Coach Hickman will have his guys ready to go. And in South Georgia, Thomasville is at Cairo. I'll take Cairo. And while we're at it, I'll just go ahead and predict Bainbridge over Thomasville next week. We might as well be proactive on this show. And finally, Brooks County will be at Cook County, and I'll take Brooks. Until I see otherwise, there's no need to go against Coach Freeman. On to the college ranks. Florida State will take on a more formidable opponent in the debut of Brian Kelly as they face off against LSU. And my FAMU Rattlers will go down to Miami in the Orange Blossom Classic and look for a measure of revenge against those flea-bitten Tigers of Jackson State. This sets up prime state, prime rib, prime numbers, and somebody gonna get a prime ass whooping. Jackson State, you're on the clock. See you next week.
He never lets me down. He never lets me down.
So
Coach,
he doesn't let you down. Huh?
Coach, what is a flea bath?
Oh.
What is a what the Earl? What the hell is a flea bath? I've never heard that. Oh my gosh! And being proactive, that's messed up, man. I just want to say that is messed up, and throw the disclaimer out. The opinions and whatever comes out the mouths of the hosts and guests do not reflect. Yeah, you hear it. You hear the disclaimer at the end. Because that dude is psycho. Psycho.
Dr. Miller, I hear you. Thanks for selecting Cairo. Go syrup makers. Chiquita, your home team is going pretty good. They might be something to deal with this year. And Sports Diva laughing at Earl. Laughing at Earl.
Syrup makers? Wait a minute, hold up. Cairo syrup makers?
You have to ask Dr. Miller about that. You get Dr. Miller on here now. You liable not the same thing. You know how you get quiet when she come around.
Oh. But she ain't around now.
You say she ain't around now.
I got you, Doc. Syrup makers, huh? Is it Aunt Jemima, Aunt Jemima syrup, or is it the cane syrup, or what? Just what kind of syrup is it?
See, it's coming. I'm coming. It's coming. See, there it goes. Do not start, Rick.
Loving it.
You know, Dr. Miller don't play with you.
That's why I got to get the shots in now. Got to fire quick, fire early. First shot.
Got to fire early.
Yes. Coach, Ms. B, allow me to introduce you to our next legend. This man won more than 300 games as a basketball coach in high school and captured state titles during segregation and integration. But that was secondary to his primary mission. On today's Remembering the Legends, we shine the spotlight on former basketball coach Alvin Pearsall Sr. Born in Lake Wales, Pearsall was a football, track, and assistant basketball coach at Jackson County Training School in Mariana before he returned to Polk County and his alma mater, Lake Wales Roosevelt as head basketball coach in the 1960s. Pearsall led the Pirates to a Florida Interscholastic Athletic Association, say that fast, the black high school sports organization that operated during segregation. Well, he led them to state championships in 1965 and 1969. Schools integrated in Polk County in 1968, and Pearsall took over at Lake Wales in 1969, becoming Polk County's first black head basketball coach. 3 years later, he moved to Bartow High School. Now, check this out, you guys. In 8 seasons, Pearsall's Yellow Jackets won 8 district titles, 6 regional titles, 4 sectional titles, which led to 4 trips to the FHSAA state basketball tournament. And in 1975, Pearsall led the Bartow Yellow Jackets to the state championship. He retired in 1993 with 320 victories and 3 state titles. He was inducted into the second class of the Florida Association of Basketball Coaches Court of Legends Hall of Fame in 2010, which recognizes individuals and teams from Florida's rich history of basketball. In 2019, he was recognized by the Polk County Historical Association as a Polk Pioneer. But the accolades aren't what was important to him. I had a beautiful career, the easy-speaking Pearsall told me back in 2010. Winning basketball games wasn't my priority. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't like losing, but my joy was having the chance to get these young men ready for life. A respected leader, husband, father, and coach, Pearsall, at the age of 93, is still respected throughout Polk County today. That is why he is a legend.
Good piece about a local legend down there in that part of the country, Rick.
Good guy, knowledgeable. I mean, you hear this saying, you know, he's forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know, but willing to give his knowledge today. Just a great guy.
Well, I had to add this just so you don't think you got away when Chiquita said "boo, Rick." She's not gonna be through with you for a while. You done opened up something now. Yeah.
It's gonna be a long football season. I already see it now.
You already see it.
Yeah, but that's all right.
We got the NFL fan show where you get that crew together talking about the NFL people, but you know, it's been a long week up on our hill. You know, we on the tallest of 7 hills, but it wasn't tall enough to escape the fire that was going on. Now, before I proceed too far, the first thing I want to say is that's my alma mater. That's where I'm from. Florida A&M has done a lot for me. Educated my mother and father, grandmother, allowed me to live a certain lifestyle growing up that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. I got 2 daughters that graduated from there, cousins, nieces. We about four generations deep of rattlers. Now, I understand that during the time, you know, people saying they get tired of hearing Mick and Clayton and how many generations it's been. You know, people hate like they hate. You know, when people get upset because your parents and grandparents went to an institution and they mad with you, I mean, I can't deal with that. And I preface it by saying, too, if anybody could have said something negative about our school from personal experience, the way they burned my hind parts for nothing, and the people that ran with nothing and still try to accuse me of things that I didn't do, and when the time came that it came out that we didn't do it, when it got proved that it couldn't be done, the meeting was held, said, promised to make a public apology to Coach Clayton and Ms. B. Who's going to make the apology? Room was quiet. Nobody made the apology. I didn't say anything. Why am I going to fight the school? That's not in me. I owe a lot to Florida A&M. I hear people talk a lot about we need to clean it out. We need to get people not from the school. We need to do this. Well, first of all, when they hire us graduates, for us, that's our end job. I mean, that's our destination job. For us to go somewhere else, we would not do what we did or do at Florida A&M at somewhere else, because we do a lot of it out of love. Does a school take advantage of that? Oh, doggone right they do. Doggone right they do. They pay you less and tell you, if we pay you more than that, we could have got somebody else. They doing you a favor. I've heard that a couple of times. You know, when you don't get raises or you end up having to come out your pocket to do things, they know that you only gonna complain so much because you're a FAMU person. Then they come back and they'll get somebody. You want somebody from another school, they come in and burn the place down because it's a stepping stone for them to do something else. That's just my opinion. It doesn't matter to me if you agree with me or not. But before I go on with what I have to say, Rick, what's your thoughts on the past week?
Oh wow! I was about to sit back. I was waiting for you to light the match. If you've been living under a rock for the past week or so, you know that FAMU went up to, and Earl touched on it a little bit, went up to North Carolina with 20 plus, because I hear different numbers, 26, 25, 20 ineligible people or players. And when you hear that, when you first hear that players are ineligible, you automatically think, well, I automatically think, what the hell were they doing in the classrooms? This shouldn't be. But then you draw back the layers and you see there's more to it than just, it's not classroom, it's compliance, which really has nothing to do with the student athletes. It's having one academic advisor for a football team of more than 70 players, is having one compliance officer for those same players. It's a mess. It's and I understand when people say you shouldn't put your dirty laundry out, but if it wasn't dirty, if you handled your business, then you wouldn't have to be out. And I'm sorry, folks, I believe in calling a spade a spade.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How do you know if it's the compliance or if it's somebody else? Or how do you know what I mean, I'm just asking.
No. When you say somebody else, what like?
I mean, you said compliance officer, academic advisement. How do we know that's what the issue is? I'm just asking a question because you read and you hear.
Right.
It's necessary. How do you know that that's the truth? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, this is what if
somebody says it does not necessarily mean
this is true, Coach. This is true. But if it wasn't true,
and you have to think about those kids, those students, and you being able to discuss what the real issue. I'm just saying.
Right. Okay. But if it wasn't true, wouldn't the university come out and say?
Would you? No, say that, I'm just saying. I'm not saying this is the case. Would you say that somebody flunked all their classes? Okay, that's what I'm just saying. You have to take into consideration. I'm not saying because I don't know. I started the NCAA compliance department at Florida.
I was about to ask you that, right?
And it's changed a lot, but I did the compliance, I did academic advisement, I did facilities and management, I did transportation. I did all of those. So we need to be way past doing all of those now. But I'm just saying, in terms of the students, it's a lot of people that are saying different things, but you don't really know what the truth is.
Well,
I'm just saying that.
okay.
And so for me, it's almost you newspaper reporter.
I am.
You have to consider the source of where it's coming from. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes people have different agendas on why they say different things. Now, I'm not saying the school is right. That's not what I'm saying, because I firsthand know how they can do you. Okay, so I'm not saying it's right. I think that the academic component has always been an issue, but see, there's certain things that the athletic department can't do when it comes to academics, because they don't want the two to cross midstream. They want athletics separate and academics separate. There was a time that academic advisors advised the athletes, and there was an issue with what the athletic academic advisors told them and the biology advisor told them, and what the psychology advisor told them. So there were situations where it had to come from the academia side to be able to tell them what they should take. So I'm just saying, I think we do. And I stopped you, but you're entitled to your opinion. I want you to go on, but I just wanted to stop it at that point just to interject, because that's some of what people are saying. I sit there and I'm like, yeah, man, we just kind of going by what people say, not doing some paperwork, not doing. You take the financial aid person and you put them over compliance. Those two are not the same things. The financial aid, I wouldn't have a clue where to start with that. And the NCAA compliance is completely different. So I don't know that person was equipped to be able to handle it. That might be an issue just based on that part, if that's what really happened.
And it changes every year. The NCAA compliance stuff changes every year. So you need someone almost full time.
Oh, definitely.
To just end that.
Yep.
In that. But my point was, and still is, the president spoke with the football team yesterday, I believe. And when he spoke to the media afterwards, he was telling of some changes that's coming, that they're going to add more people to that, which led me to my statements earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's such a disconnect there, and it always has been, Coach. And you worked in that administration as well as on the field. It's still a disconnect, and we're too far past that. We should be much better than this.
Okay,
why should hold on, Coach, hold on, please. Why should our star player? How can our star, the best defensive player in FCS, miss 4 games because of this? That's
okay. Let me ask you a question. How do you know this is what it is? I'm just asking a question. How do you know this is what it is? That somebody didn't do the paperwork correctly?
okay.
You don't know that.
But as a reporter, you know, you're going to hear if someone's not telling the truth. You're going to hear it. Someone's going to slip. It's going to come out. Someone's going to call you off the record.
I don't agree.
It's going to happen.
I don't agree.
It always happens.
It doesn't always happen, because it didn't happen with me. When it wasn't the truth didn't come out. So I'm speaking, you saying that, but it doesn't always come out. And when it comes to those students, I'm not saying that that's not the case. I'm just saying that we don't know that it is. We just hear one side of the story. We don't know.
But we haven't. We've heard both sides.
No, you haven't heard you haven't heard the school say what it was, because I've heard different things from my end. But I would never say what I've heard, and because I don't know if it's true or not. That's what I'm saying. And see, depending on who you believe, you go with whatever they tell you. And that's why I'm saying it's us a now. My issue is this the only way it could have been resolved? We have had issues. Is this the only way we could have gotten it resolved by the stand that we took? I'm saying that. Is it better to do that? See, that's what I'm saying. I have an issue when all of it. Yeah, I'm one of those there. Dirty law doesn't have to be aired. I said doesn't say we don't have it. I say it doesn't have to be aired. It's always a way to handle it. But it had bothered me so much. Even the reason, if you historically on our show, we don't get into negative. We don't get into that kind of controversial thing. But the reason I'm talking about today, because I was so frustrated and so sick of hearing about it, that I was thinking, I said, where would I want my grandchildren to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to send them to a PWI where it's blatant racism and I know they're going to be mistreated. Or do we send them to HBCU where everybody's complaining about this, that, and the other with them? But at the end of the day, I speak up because I want it to be better for them.
Yes.
I'm gone. I ain't going back to school. My children gone. But my whole thing is there's always a proper way to do it. And I think that we have to have people up top who listen.
Yes.
You can't have your mind already closed of on what you think it is. I've been in them situations. I've been in the situation where I was the only person in there arguing for the athletic director. I wasn't the athletic director. But the athletic director came back and made a comment after we left. He said, Mickey, I agree with you. You were fighting for me. I said, yes, I was fighting for you. And I was the only one in there fighting for you. He said, I understand now. See, I was raised different. Dr. Humphreys wanted you, he didn't want you to be a yes man. Dr. Humphreys wanted you to show him different sides of the coin so he would know and hear it. He wouldn't want you to come to him later and say, man, Doc, I didn't think that was going to work. Yeah, well, Dr. Humphreys a cut shot. Well, goddamn, why you ain't telling me
Why
that
you say it then?
to begin with? He said, we don't know. But he encouraged it. That's the way some of us were raised as we were coming up through the administrative ranks. Somewhere in there it changed and they didn't want to hear your opinion. If your opinion was different from what the main brain thrust was thinking, then you were called not a team player. So I wasn't raised that way to just go along to get along. I was raised to speak your mind up. And if you think you have a better way to do something, then try it. Then try it. But that's it sickens me. All this stuff, certain people producing things from the president and the football team and the band. If you go back and look on the clicks for their show, they got 25,000 clicks, 5 times the number of any other show they've done. It's not important to me to do those clicks to come out and to do that kind of stuff. That's not what we're trying to do. No. On INSiiGHTS magazine, on Mick and Rick, on none of the shows that we do with INSiiGHTS, ROKU, or INSiiGHTS YouTube. We try to stay on the positive side as much as we can. And Rick, our opinion, we don't always see things eye to eye, but that's fine. We know we still boys, we still frat brothers. We still say what we gotta say, But I'm just saying that we don't know the facts because people don't always tell the facts. And I tell that because I've been and lived that situation. I've lived it. And the reason I didn't say anything because I didn't want to say nothing negative against the school. So at the end of the day, it's like having a girlfriend. If she don't want to be with your ass no more, then you got to let her go. If the school didn't want me to work for them anymore, I was retired anyway. So I'm going and do what I'm doing now. When I got offered a job by the then current athletic director to create a new position, the deputy assistant athletic director, and I told them, no, I wasn't interested. They had a fit. Why you could be the athletic director today? I said, no, my time is past. I got my own company now I'm putting together. I want to see if I can make that go. I have my own dream. I can't keep working for the university. It's time for me to do something else. But they offered me that job, and then a month later, accused me of stealing. and told people in a staff meeting that they were going to come after Mickey Clayton personally. And I got people in the staff meeting that I grew up with, that I raised it, got the word to me that was said. But I mean, it don't matter to me at this point. That's why I'm saying you can't go by if the truth is going to come out, because the truth don't always come out. And our people always run with a negative story. We talk about that all the time. They'll run with a negative story, go across town and pass that, but they won't pass a good one. That's why we be so determined to try to stay with the positive around here.
It has to change. Whatever the situation is, whatever the real deal is, and they always say that there's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth in the middle somewhere. Something has to be done, because if not, I mean, this thing has picked up steam nationally. We're now, as you mentioned earlier, people getting clicks and all of that, but we're now that school that's going to be out there. And I say we because I am an alumnus of FAMU as well, and my children went to FAMU as well. Met my wife at FAMU, so that school. I came to Florida because of FAMU. The Rattlers are in my heart. Do I hate that this has come up like this? Yes. Can some good come out of it? I hope so. I hope this can facilitate the change. But I mean, it isn't the first time situations like this has happened. 2016, I believe.
Well, Earl, even more recently, we had 7 schools that did not meet ARP. Out of seven programs that didn't meet. Now only 1. 6 out of 7 improved. So that improvement had to come by the school doing something positive to be able to make some of those changes. I'm just saying, with us, and I had one of my former players on here, and she made a comment. You know, we stayed on them in class. They didn't want you to go. They didn't want to see coaches in the class talking to the teachers, talking to the instructors. I got an instructor today made a comment, say, I remember your team used to come every week or every 2 weeks with a weekly report on if they had been in class, how they were doing in their classwork. If they hadn't done their classwork, if they didn't get the report and brought back, you were making them run. So they were pleading with us to make sure we filled them out, because you wasn't hearing no excuses on why they didn't turn it in. So we wouldn't go to the instructors. I would stand outside class. I would know at 8 o'clock if you went to class, because I've been there since 10 minutes to 8, to find out if you were in class. Some people, and it's not something that needs to be highlighted or cheered, but when you recruit these students, you're telling their parents that you're going to look after them. Well, look after them means more than trying to get them to a certain league status. You know, you trying to get them where they graduated so that they're better. And you can't tell these parents how you're going to look after them, and we're mistreating them worse than some of the other schools do. You make up for lack of money by doing other things. Our kids would be here over the holidays, and we would have them here over Thanksgiving. They were at my house Thanksgiving. We'd have early Thanksgiving dinner, and they would be asleep on the floor everywhere, watching football, wake up and eat again. And then we'd have some that stayed nearby, and they went home to eat and come back knocking on the window talking about, Miss Clayton, I need to get me a plate. I mean, it was just a tradition. My daughter went to Hampton when they played at FAMU. We fed the team. My daughter was playing at FAMU DRS. We fed the team when they went to the state tournament. That's just some of the things that we do to try to be in a position to look out and go that extra mile, because they're our kids. You know? And
how difficult is it to do it with the number of football players?
I think when you use the numbers, I think a lot of times it's an excuse not to get it done. Now, if you're talking about keeping up and monitoring their classes, I started the first academic study hall the athletic department had. It was when it's most successful when assistant football coaches were in attendance. If the coaches weren't there, the football players were disruptive and doing everything but studying. But the minute one of them walked in the door, then it stopped. So I'm saying, if it's me, every one of my football coaches, it's not an original idea, but every one of my coaches would be responsible for their position players. And we're meeting on it. We meet every day anyway. So if we met on for an hour every day to see the status of what's going on, then we do that. We would do that. We'll keep up with what's going on. That's your responsibility. If you coaching the linebackers, I better not have a linebacker in academic trouble. That's just me. Dion makes a comment about not wearing flip-flops and this and that. We ain't never do that. The guys' team or the girls' team. The girls, most of the time, they wore dresses when they traveled. The guys wore shirt and ties, and the upperclassmen would come and get on the first road trip and bring everybody ties so that the freshmen wouldn't have an excuse not to wear them. That was something that we did. That's something that we did. And we just followed. I remember when we went to the NCAA tournament, somebody asked a question after we told them some of the things that we were doing. One of the reporters said, wow, Florida A&M is like a white Duke. And I said, no, Duke is like a black Florida A&M. And the guy just bust out and started laughing. He ain't write that down, though.
It didn't fit in our story.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, my thing is, you get people that pile on and they take whatever somebody runs with. As a good friend of mine said, are you lying when you omit telling the truth? You only tell the part that conveys the message you want to send. So you don't tell the whole story. You just leave out stuff that's a big part of the story. Because you have your own agenda on how you want it to go. My agenda is strictly for the Florida A&M University family. And I don't care what people say. The true rattlers are the ones that suffer the most and the ones that care the most. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of times we hide guns that come from other places. They try to do good, try to do a great job, which they can do, and then they try to move on. But then you have people who not a true snake, they're not a true rattler. They'll look up and see somebody else doing stuff that's not really how we operate, and now they want to be a boa constrictor or a water moccasin. And that doesn't get by with them. That doesn't get by with them. So, yes, am I upset about it? I'm upset to hear all the negativity and the people that jump on it and they so excited about it in terms of being able to say something negative. And I only bring up my situation because I was in that situation and still take body shots on stuff I didn't do. There's other people that have done stuff, criminally done stuff, and been charged. It's okay. Why they ain't charged? Because there wasn't nothing there. They were supposed to do a public apology. They didn't. I don't make no big fuss about it. You don't hear me still sounding off about it. Like I told you, it's like the girl who don't want to date you. You can't make her date you. Or it's like being in a church. Your family helped found a church. You might not get along with the pastor, but it ain't the pastor's church. You're going to have another pastor. Don't stop going to your church and supporting the church you from. Same thing. Florida A&M is my university. I owe Florida A&M everything in terms of how I am, how I've done professionally. Because it educated my grandmother, who then educated my mom and my dad, who allowed me to learn and do things. So I owe them. There was I don't know certain people talking about how rough it was. It used to bother me all the time when the only story they write about black athletes was if you had to be your parents had to be a drug addict and your mom had to be a hooker. And that's the only way you advance through it. There's a whole lot of middle-class black people. Times have changed. Times have changed. Like somebody was saying about the roach-infested living conditions. He said, I got sons and daughters. Talking about my boy, he just had to man up. He got to do it, but I don't want my daughter in that situation. Am I rambling? Yeah, because it just got to stop at some point. But we also, administrators, we have to listen. We shouldn't have to get to the extreme before we listen. We shouldn't have to get to the extreme. And you can't get upset with people on your administrative staff who do listen. You got people got out excellent relationships with the students and other people, but you get mad with them. In our situation, sometimes you find coaches that are hard and they always have an assistant coach that's soft. So when the hard coach get on them, the easier coach can go talk to him. I heard Coach Hayes say on his football staff, he had to have one son of a bitch. He said he had to have one. Then when everybody saw him come there, Lord, that boy crazy. We need to go on and try and get that straight because we know they're crazy. You got to have one. So I'm just saying that's
good cop, bad cop.
Huh? Yeah.
Good cop, bad cop.
That was me and Ralph Coleman. He would go talk to him and say, you might as well go on and run. He got me up here on this snake all day. He ain't gonna let me come down. He see you up here walking. If you walking, he gonna let you stay up here. Well, he ain't gonna never let me come down. He ain't gonna let you come down until you run him. So you might as well go on and run him so you come on down. But see, now I understand that some more of the players that have been able to get through and be a part of the program coming up, but at the end of the day, what people got, I want everybody to understand is we Florida A&M University. And all this adversity and stuff that's coming up, we shall get through it. We shall get through it. But we ought to listen, and we need to be able to listen to other people who have vested interest in what you're saying. If you remember when I started my tirade, I said, you got to consider the source of who's saying some things. Sometimes that source, when they say it, you need to be like, right, that I don't even know how much of that I believe at all. I don't believe them at all. I know I have people I talk to and I might pass up. They say, well, Coach, who'd you get that from? Who is your source? Is that a legitimate source? But if there's anybody who could pass or be upset and just say, come out negative because of the stuff they've done to her, it would be me. But I had a faculty member tell me, he said, Coach, if you stay at FAMU long enough, what you went through, everybody go through. I said, wow, that is not reassuring.
No, not all.
No. But I love my school now, and I'm just tired and sick of all this other stuff that's going on. You got a coach over there, the basketball coach has graduated every single person he has recruited to FAMU, every one. We don't sing those praises enough. 6 out of 7. The football team had the lowest APR rating in the country.
901.
We got to do better than that.
We got to do better.
And doing better means you set up academic programs for students that might be marginal students until they prove and show that they can handle academics. See, our kids could stay off campus, but that was a reward. You had to show that you had a certain grade point average to be able to stay off campus. If it rained, if it rained, people thought that was an excused absence. Didn't nobody go? They thought that was an excused absence. So if your apartment is on the other side of town, you didn't go at all. But you got a much better chance of going if you on campus. If you on campus, you're not worried about if your financial aid comes. You're not worried about a meal plan because you eating on campus.
Mm-hmm.
All those things happen. All those things happen. So I mean we went through that. And we told them if you're off campus, you have a certain grade point average, you have your upperclassmen, a certain grade point average, you have requirements you have to meet. Plus, you have to understand that you're not going to get your financial aid before such and such a time, and you're going to have to be able to take care of yourself till that stuff comes in. So it's not all it's not all gravy now. It's you have to be aware of the situation if you go off campus. So I mean, there's a pro and con.
You know, you said something, and I know we're running long, but you said something that really it reminded me of Dr. Humphreys. He said, you know, we're going to get through this. And what did he always say about when the dark clouds gather on the horizon? With thunder and lightning in the sky, and but it came back. What did he say? You must always remember that the Rattlers would do what? Strike and strike and strike again. This is just a little hiccup.
Yeah. Well, it's more than a little hiccup. We can't survive from it, but we just got to get some. We just got to get some leadership together to be able to do some positive things, you know, and not be upset when some people try to talk to him. Like I said, Dr. Humphreys wanted to hear both sides. He didn't want to just hear one side.
Oh yeah, I
You
know
know,
that
he
for a
wanted to hear
fact.
both sides.
I know that for a fact.
And that's how he raised me now. And he would tell you stuff now. He ain't like it now.
Mhm.
Man, I need to say you. I need to say you. I need to understand why you don't let those girls, you don't let them be involved and do community involvement. I said, Dr. Humphreys, what are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. You wouldn't let them get involved. They were asked to do a community activity, and you wouldn't let them be involved in it. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You do know what I'm talking about. So Dr. Humphrey, you talking about so and so and so and so? I told you knew what I was talking about. I said, Doc, he want the girls to be in a fashion show and model lingerie.
Skirt.
What? You say what? Oh, hell no. Mickey, I guarantee you, I will never call you in again. You make the best decision for your team and for our university. I don't care if that nigga get upset with me. Damn lingerie, not my basketball team. I said, yes, sir. And he ain't called me in no more about that. But that's how people do. I said, that's how people do. Now I understand our guy Earl Kitchens came on, but I said, man, Earl came on, the show almost over. We had to get Earl another time. We try to
Sorry.
we try to go.
Sorry, EK.
Yeah, it could have cut my tirade time down.
Yes indeed. Yes indeed.
Rick, I'm a true rattlesnake.
Okay, Snake. Okay,
I'm a
Snake.
true rattlesnake.
Okay.
And sometimes I've always loved my school. Sometimes my school ain't love me, but I always love my school. You know? And people say, well, you got ROKU going, you gonna do some stuff with FAMU? I said, well, not really. You know, FAMU got their stuff organized. They don't want my fingerprints on it. We available. We got some stuff coming up with some other colleges, but what can you say?
Just another day living in the hood. Just another day. We'll be there. You see. You see. I told y'all to jump on the wagon before we go downhill. I'm telling you. I done told you.
Well, say you tried to tell them. They ain't want to listen, did they, Rick?
That's all right. I could show you better than I could tell you.
Say I could show you better than I could tell you. I appreciate that. We tried to tell them, you know, I'm from FAMU. I got 2 degrees from FAMU. They educated my mama and my dad and my grandma, my 2 daughters. You know, I owe a lot to FAMU. But one thing I learned was that one, you don't quit. And at FAMU, we always try to find another way to do something. And when we grew up, we came through, it wasn't no critical thinking class. We had critical thinking in every class.
Amen.
In every class. Our teachers would say stuff just to challenge you to see if you would let them get away with that. They expected you. I had a lady in grad school who gave me the only B on my transcript. She gave me a B in grad school because she said she was disappointed because she expected me to help her teach her class better than I did. And I'm like, get out of here. Well, if you that serious about it, I'll change it to hey. I said, no, leave it like it is. Let me every time I look at it, let it be a reminder to me about people and their expectations. I said, it's fine. I'm good. I'm gonna get my degree. I'm good. I mean, I got all A's on the rest of them. I'm good. I'm all right. But for those people, and there's a lot of who support what we do, Rick. Somebody made a comment. They were saying, "Man, y'all are blown up on ROKU, and y'all really doing good." And they thanked me for reaching out my hand to an old friend of theirs called Rick Brown and getting him involved with the stuff that we do, because we enjoy his talent and him being able to show and do what he's doing. I mean, it's all about opportunities. It's all about opportunities. So if y'all looking for Mickey Clayton to say a whole lot negative, I'm just going to say my opinion. And we need to listen better. Do I get calls from time to time and ask about certain things? Yeah, they do. Yeah, we do. I don't have a problem with that. That's my school. I wanted to do well. Do I see my fingerprints all over athletics? I see it everywhere. We used to talk about, we used to tell students all the time, said, if you find out if your boss really want to hear your opinion, if they don't want to hear it, then shut up. Don't offer it to them. Don't get offended. But watch and see if they take your ideas and then come back 6 months later with your idea and act like they just had a thunderbolt hit them as they were driving into work.
It's an epiphany. It's an epiphany. I know I got it. And I'll ring your bell a little bit. And is Coach always right? No, because look at the Brown stuff behind them. Oh, that's next week. Okay, sorry. I jumped again.
I have a team.
That is true. That is true. I have a team. I do have a team. Whoever plays that squad in Dallas, that's my team.
Well,
and whoever plays Miss Dr. Miller's team.
Oh
no, I'm joking. I'm joking. I like Patrick Mahomes. I do. I like the Chiefs. I'm just joking.
There you go. See, you ain't happy.
I gotta go. I gotta go. I think my mother's calling me. Hey, Ma, I'll be there in a minute.
Those of you who may be first-time watchers, click subscribe down there. Be aware of when the next time we come on. The button's right down there where Rick's showing it. Give us a thumbs up. Tell your people to watch the show. We only know by the thumbs up and by the support what you like and what you don't like. And those clicks do make a difference for us in terms of how we do our programming. It really, really does. So we really do appreciate y'all. And those of y'all who said, appreciate the show, we appreciate y'all. To Chuck White family from the Final Four over there in Tampa, our prayers to you. That hill in the sky, now that's the tallest hill. And you're getting more and more when you see Jake up there and Rock and some of our others. We appreciate you. Tell them hello, that we trying to follow on the tradition and some of us, and trying to do what you taught us how to do. With some reach back and help others. Dr. Miller said K-State and the Chief don't hate Rick. And then Vanessa Byers said Rick couldn't just be quiet. For those of you who new to the show, I'm ready to go at each other, boy. I think one day we had Dr. Miller come on here, boy, and she kind of shut Rick up. She said, Rick, She said, now you got me in person. You don't have nothing to say? It was silence. Silence. To the Coleman family,
Yes.
as the oldest daughter said, she said, this is my family. This is my childhood. When she hugged me and the missus, you know, and I said, you're right. And his wife was like, you know him longer than I have. She said, yeah, that's been your guy. So, yep, I've known him since we were in college together. And he was always the yin to my yang. He was always the one calming me down. I remember when I got married, he said, well, I'm glad you got somebody else you could talk to now when you get that upset stomach after a game.
Sounds like him. That sounds like him. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but I'm glad you got somebody else that can calm you down at the end of a loss. Because I used to take them long rides down Interstate 10, damn near go to Jacksonville. No. We had some big wins though. Number 10 ranked Auburn. We drilled them one year. And as we said one time, we got more wins against Florida State than every other athletic program at Florida A&M University, all put together and combined. We got more wins against Florida State than all of them.
Your attention, please. Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises. It is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.
We appreciate all of you. You know, that's what's coming up. INSiiGHTS Magazine, a special on Joe Bullock. You know, we did INSiiGHTS Magazine. We kind of do a little special on people and situations and things that are going on. And we got that coming up for y'all. So that should be a good one with Joe Bullock. We appreciate y'all. And we'll have to try to get Earl Kitchens on when I can get him on at the right time when we start the show. Get him on at the end of the show. That's my boy. I want to talk about the black quarterback. But we will get him again. We appreciate y'all. And remember, the Rattlers will strike, and doggone it, we'll strike again.
Peace.